I'll start, Terrence. That Jackson deal, I saw the video that you did on that.
Mhm.
From you first being introduced to that to you making your investment, can you take me through that whole alpha to omega process? And were there any times where you were thinking about nixing the deal, but eventually pulled the plug?
And for me, I think the biggest reason why, like, I'm looking at those types of deals because I can bring more people along versus just doing these projects on my own where for 15 years, me and Erica just have funded our own projects and not raised any capital. But on those deals, I can give more people a seat at the table and it helps everybody else win. And then I win when they win. So, but yeah, it's been good, man, because when I look at that deal, you want to take those kind of high level things that everybody looks at, right? So how many units is it? So you want to start with the unit number, unit count. Then you want to look at the class. Is it a class A, B, C, B plus, D? Because that tells you what your opportunity is. And then you want to look at what's around it. What's the household median income? It's in Arlington, so it's right down the street from Ranger Stadium, Six Flags, whatever. And then you want to look at what the previous owner is doing and if there's any opportunity in that management. Maybe they're not managing it correctly. Maybe the rental rates are a little low. Maybe there should have been some upgrades that haven't been done, whatever it is. So what's that value opportunity? And then you look at the financing. What's our loan to value? Are we going to raise 30%, 40%, whatever that may be? And then how much money do I need to raise if I'm going to go buy, I think that was right at $44 million apartment. How much money do I need to raise? And then that's when it really starts because the paperwork, whatever we need to do today, I need to make sure everybody in the room gets a link to that deal room if you want to go check it out. But you'll see we had to put together a deal room and we're using Syndication Pro where it creates K1s because anytime you invest in a project or a business, you're going to get a K1 from that entity saying, okay, Everett, here's how much money you made. So when people say, I need to do my tax returns because I'm investing in this business or I own this business, you're going to get a K1. That's what you use to add to your tax return. And then we do monthly distributions. So every month we're giving our investors a return on what they invested. So you got to have a CPA firm and an auditing team and then a bookkeeper who can keep up with all that. And then the next thing is, what are those high level things? So what's the cash on cash? What's the hold period, 3 to 5 years? What's the IRR, which is internal rate of return? And then what's the equity multiple? That means if you put in 100 grand, you'll get back your 100 grand plus a return and then a profit split. So I always tell people, this is called syndicating. So obviously you guys know I develop neighborhoods, I develop student housing, I do townhomes and multifamily, and I do neighborhoods that are just built for rentals, BFRs. And then I buy commercial strip centers, Starbucks, Buffalo Wild Wings, blah, blah, blah. But this is like a multifamily syndication. So a private equity is what they call. So there's 6 ways to make money in private equity syndication. And this is that, remember this path we're on right now is just all about sales, billion-dollar real estate agent. Then on billion-dollar real estate investor, I'm going to show you guys how to do all this. And then that last level will be billion-dollar real estate entrepreneur. But yeah, I'll give you the 6 ways, then we'll move on. So 6 ways, I do everything in an acronym. It's called GRAAPP, GRAAPP. So the guarantee fee, because that's somebody who's a high net worth individual who puts up their balance sheet. They put up their financial statement, which is why I'm always talking to you guys about building a financial statement. I'm getting y'all ready for the long game. And there's nothing that I'm ever going to tell you to do that's going to be a waste. You may not see it now, but in 3 years or 5 years, you're like, oh shit, now I see why Terrence was telling me to build a financial statement. But either way, you put up your balance sheet, high net worth individual, and then they get a guarantee fee. It's usually 1 to 2% of the loan. So if it's a $20 million loan, they make a 2% fee on that. Then there's a refinance fee. So if you are they call them GPs. So in the syndication, there's general partners, then there's limited partners. The limited partners are the people that invest. The general partners are the people who run the project and raise the money. So then there's a refinance fee. So if you guys refinance the deal in like 3 to 5 years and keep it, there's work that goes into a refinance. And then there's an acquisition fee you make up front because obviously you're doing all the due diligence, you're doing all the work. Then there's an asset management fee because you're managing the returns and you're paying out the K1s and the distributions and all that. So that's your GRAA. And then PP is a property management fee. That's usually paid to a third party, or if you have a management account or a company. And then profit split. That's how you make the money on the backside. So once you pay back everybody, the limited partners, then the general partners get like a 70-30 split or 80-20 split. And that's when you really, so we don't make our money really on these type of deals until we sell the deal, recapitalize it, or refinance it. There needs to be a cash transaction in 3 to 5 years. And that's when you really make the money. So that was a long answer, but hopefully it helped you.
No, thank you. That was very good.
Yeah, and then this was recorded, so you can always go back and watch it. All right, y'all. So I'm out of here sharp at 9:30. I'm meeting with the city at this townhome project, trying to get these final building permits and all that. So if y'all got questions, don't be shy, because I'm going to be out of here sharp at 9:30. Now, Nicole's going to stay around. She's the co-host to keep the room open if y'all want to just conversate from there. But remember, I'm out sharp at 9:30. So let's just go unmic and go and get your questions in. Not everybody at once.
I got my first closing coming up on Friday. I just watched your that portion of the course and that, but just wanted to get people's feedback. Is there anything specific I need to prepare for or look for?
Yeah, I would tell you. So you watched that training where I did with Regina?
Yes.
I would watch it over and over and over.
Okay.
Because I was preparing her for her first closing. And truth be told, bro, there's nothing else that I could talk about that is not on that training. Because I think that training was about 20 minutes, right? About 20, 25 minutes.
It was like 23 minutes.
Yep. So I would just watch it over and over and over. And then go ahead and get the HUD statement, like I said on that call. And then start reviewing it. And just spend all your energy watching that video over and over.
I got you.
Yep. But that will have you more prepared than any other agent walking into their first closing.
Got you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
I got a quick question for you. When it comes to double-sided transactions where you're, representing both buyer and seller, how do you, let's say, one party's on board, but the other party is uncomfortable without having the full representation? What's kind of your strategy or pitch to convince both sides to let you represent them, even though they won't be getting the full, negotiated representation?
What you want to do, Dylan, the moment a client feels uncomfortable about an intermediary, you need to hand them off to somebody else on the team, because it's not worth getting into a pickle. And I'm telling you now, if they're already uncomfortable and the deal hasn't even started, as soon as they don't get the price they want or terms they want, something goes wrong on inspections or something happens, they're going to blame you. See, you should have represented us or blah, blah, blah. So what you want to do is you want to find somebody on the team and just say, hey, Laura, Henry, Teresa, Jabari, Viet, whoever, on this particular deal, I want you to represent the buyer. I'm going to keep the seller. But if they end up not buying this, then obviously I'm going to assign them back to myself. And if it's a lead that you procured, like if it's like one of your sphere influences, then you can charge a referral fee. But if it's a lead that you did like calling our database or our leads, then you just gotta reassign it for that one deal. And then if they don't buy that one, they come back to you.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, Dylan, I put in the chat who you should use for that agent, so you can just check that out, brother.
I gotcha.
All right, let's go. Next question.
Hey T, brought it to the room, wanted to get your take on it. I'm working with an investor. She's ready to put an offer in today on another fourplex.
Mm-hmm.
There are no, there's one recent sold in the area and it's only 4 years old, so it's not a really good comp because it's totally updated. The next sold is 2.3 miles away, different school district, in an HOA, monthly maintenance fees, which the other one has none of that. Wanted to see, how do I come up with the best offer price for her when all I have is the asking price and, souls that aren't really good comps?
Great question. You ready? You got a pen?
I'm ready. Yep.
So one of the things we need to always look at is a CMA or an appraisal All it is someone's opinion. It's just someone's opinion. So, sorry. What you want to do is look at, how do you evaluate a property? There's 3 ways. One is comps, and you're already trying to do that, right? The next one is income. So it's the gross rent multiplier, or you do the multiplier based on the income it produces. So it's, you use the income. And then the last way to look at a property on an appraisal, anybody know? Replacement costs. So you want to back into it those 3 ways. So the next prudent thing to do is, how much is it rented for, and then how much are they asking? So how much is it rented for, Angela, and how much are they asking?
They have long-term tenants. They are currently paying $2,750 total for the property, and they're asking $480.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it doesn't cash flow at that number. So, and how long has it been on the market?
About 3 days.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, so yeah, what we got to do is, you got it. So, and then the other one is, you could always say, in negotiating, I always email, if I can't get there to a common value that makes sense, I always text the listing agent and say, can you tell me how you got to this asking price? You know, can you send me comps? Can you give me your CMA? I'm having a hard time seeing the value. And that's always another option. But your income
Excellent.
multiplier doesn't get there. It's way off. So the only other thing is replacement costs. So go look at what you think the dirt is worth. And then if you were to build that today, what would it cost you? All right, y'all. Next question.
Thank you.
I got another question for you. So let's say on the listing side, I'm kind of curious. When you're negotiating with another agent, is it bad practice, or is it just good negotiating to, let's say they present an offer, but that's, is it right to say, oh, like, we have a better and higher offer. If you can like match it, the house is yours. It's just basically just using a fake offer as negotiating leverage, since there's really no way that they can verify that while it's, lying. It's
Nope, and no.
Okay.
Nope. That's against our code of ethics. So that you can't use fake offers, you can't use phantom offers, you can't use any of that shit. So you have to have a real offer in hand, not a verbal. So when you're negotiating on the listing side, I can't just call up an agent and be like, hey, just so you know, I already got all these offers. And there's some shitty agents out there to do that. And I've even called a couple of them, because they, I would know the other agent that they said had an offer coming. I'll call them like, oh no, I called him, but I never told him I was bringing an offer. So either way, unless you have an offer in your inbox or sitting at your front desk, you don't have an offer. And you never can say you do. And there was a lot of shitty agents over the last couple of years when the market got hot, putting stuff on the market and saying they had all these offers. They might have had verbals, or, hey, Terrence, I'm bringing you an offer. But unless you have an offer in hand, you cannot say that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just saw a discussion about it, and I was just it was curious of what.
Yeah, there's a lot of loser agents out there, man. That's why we got to be careful. Everybody wants to be. That's the reason why I did not want to be a real estate coach. And it's the reason why I didn't want to raise money. And as y'all saw by my post lately, it forced me to get out of my comfort zone. But I didn't want to coach. I coached everybody at my brokerage, but I didn't want to coach people, because you just feel like you're entering a space where everybody wants to be the next coach and the next expert and the next thought leader. But a lot of these fucking people have no clue what they're talking about. They're just trying to sell courses. That's why I put that quote up the other day. Do you want to take a course from someone who derives their main income from doing what they're talking about? Or do you want to take a course where the person leading the course derives their main income from the courses? You want to take a course where somebody gets their income from doing it, not fucking selling classes. So yeah, just be careful who y'all are listening to on these YouTube, Instagram, TikTok videos, because these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And that's why it's just frustrating, because they hurt us more than they help us. And they make everything sound so easy.
Hey Murph, I got a quick question.
Yep.
Like starting out right now, do I need to go ahead and like create like an LLC or something like that while I'm getting started? Or is that something to do later?
I tell all agents to create an LLC as soon as you have the income coming in to afford it. They're between $800 to $1,200, depending on where you make them or get an attorney to do it. But yeah, I would create an LLC immediate. There are some tax benefits, which I'm not a tax consultant, so I'm not going to get into that. Talk to a CPA. There's also some protection there too from liability. Now we have E&O and we have a broker's license that protects us, but there's also a way to try to protect your personal wealth and things of that sort. So,
Hey, Terrence, to follow up on Ray, so with your 20 companies, are those all individual LLCs or is it under an umbrella company?
yeah, man, I probably have, brother, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm probably at 60 plus entities. And that's where I'm the real estate entrepreneur. It's we're gonna be talking about how to set up your estate, how to set up your will, how to put trust in place so that if you pass down your wealth to your kids, the government doesn't take a third of it, because that's what they're gonna do. If something were to happen to you guys right now and you don't have a will in place and a trust, they're gonna, if you get to a certain point of wealth, I think it's once you pass 12 million net worth or whatever, and the list goes on, there's different windows. They take a third of your shit. You can't even give it to your kids. So I don't know. I think somebody, and you never can trust what's on the internet, but Chadwick Boseman didn't have a trust. So the government took a third of his estate. And I think a third went to his wife and a third went to his family. Now, like I said, I haven't read into that, but that's what I've seen. I try to just, when I see stuff like that, I scroll past it. But that's what we're going to be getting into on that last level is wealth transformation, transfer, setting up nonprofits, the whole nine, buying businesses. But yeah, I would say, yeah, entities are very important. I have all LLCs and LPs. And then there's difference between S corps and C corps, but that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I would say, yeah, anytime you own real estate or own a business or run a business, get it in an entity. And certain of my entities, like I have this number, I'm like, some of them I put about 20 properties in, 20 rental houses in them, and then I start another one. If it's a multifamily, I put it in its own LLC. My commercial strip centers are in their own LLC. My businesses are all in their own entity. So you want to set up these different structures. And then I have an estate that has layers. And then I have general liability policies, multi-million-dollar umbrella policies. So if you try to come after me, it's going to be a long way before you get to me. But I'm literally going to show y'all my exact structure one day on how to set up what you're doing. But that's why you got to get the sales shit going, leverage the team, get the income, then we start buying the real estate, and then we keep it going from there. But I'll show you exactly how I do that, Everett. But for now, anything you own, put it in an entity. Business, real estate. We don't even own our personal ranch or our personal house in our personal names. It's in a trust.
That's good. Hey Murph, did have a question. So if I had an idea that came across my desk, basically where I wanted look at the cash flow as a great opportunity. I don't think it's going to take a lot of investors. What is the best way, I guess, to maybe set that up and say, hey, if I want to raise money on this, I think I can talk to 2 to 3 people and be able to raise the money. But what is the best way to break that up or to present that?
Yeah, well, if it's that good of a deal, you probably want to tie it up first. I always say an entrepreneur makes the plane on the way down. Someone who's not an entrepreneur overthinks it and never jumps. So make sure you chew on that statement. And I'll repeat it again. An entrepreneur makes the plane on the way down. Someone who overthinks it never jumps. I would go ahead and write an offer, get it negotiated to the best of my ability, try to get an extended option period, 15 days, 20 days or whatever. And then I work all the entity structure and shit out during that 15, 20 days. I can give you the long version once you tie it up. But right now, get with a bank like Frost Bank, go in and tell them you work at TM5. They'll know, they obviously will know the company. Say, I'm looking at doing this deal. What will it take financially to make this happen? And start with that. So go get your financing structure, have them run a stress test and then they'll say, hey, well, you can pay this much for it, then go negotiate it at that and get it tied up, and then work on all the other shit later on.
Got it. Yes, sir.
Why do y'all use Brivity as opposed to KV Core? Or does KV Core does it tie into KV Core?
2 separate CRMs. We were just already so far down the road on Brivity because we ran the independent broker. Yeah, I mean, we had already had so much money and time and effort in the Brivity. Even though KV Core came with what, our $85 a month,
Yeah.
we couldn't switch over
Okay.
because we were just so far in.
Okay. So there are a lot of similarities between them two?
Yeah, all CRMs are the same, bro.
Oh.
There's some that have a little couple more bells and whistles, but they're all the same. So I would just double down on KV Core. You know, they even have classes every week to teach you how to really get all of the tools. If y'all ain't going to those KV Core classes, I would encourage all y'all to go to them.
Yeah, I'll shoot. Yeah. So being new to TM5, what product should I be getting to show houses? That's kind of an elementary question. I'm a brand new agent. I've sold my own houses, but as far as, selling, clients or listing and buying, this is all new to me. So I know there's materials on the TM5 website to buy, but what would you recommend initially buying?
Yes, sir. So which
Like signs and marketing materials?
Oh, yeah. So Low and Sign is who we buy all our signs from. I think Henry has that in Access TM5. So you guys should have all got an Access TM5 account.
Yes, they did.
But yeah, I would get with Henry on. It should be in there. Be blessed, y'all. Have a good day.
You too.
Appreciate you, Murph.
Thank
too.
you.